The question was that global sustainability challenge in large part relies on cities and this requires an urgent change in urban practices. Discuss. पहले आपको ये करना होगा establish and that this requires an urgent change in urban practices. So आपको पहले establish करना होगा. The first establish you have to do it. Yes, global sustainability depends on cities. So can you give me 2-3 reasons why this is being said? First point I'll say is the cities have a fair share of the total population pressure. The cities have a fair share of total population pressure. जैसे कि अभी कि इंडिया में अर्बनाइजेशन कितना है? About 30%, 35% अर्बनाइजेशन है. 1.4 billion का 30% is about how much? If you have कितना हो गया? It's about 400 million. Okay. If you look at India, it is 400 million people live in the cities. आज के एक आर्टिकल भी आया by the way, an article of this Mr. Kant, Amitabh Kant, no, Niti Aayog guy. He's part of the Sherpa line of talk in G20. He said, near future, India will have 500 million population in urban areas. Any idea what's the population of US? 320, 350 million. इसका मतलब है, in India, urban areas alone will have about 2 US population approximately. So when you're planning for urban areas, this is a huge number. So first is, why are cities critical to global sustainability? Why? Because number one, cities have a very large share of pressure of population. और ये number data दिया करो. Okay, अभी 400 million India में है, and in the future this will be more than 500 million. That's a lot of population. एक और example दे देना. Talk about US. US में urbanization is more than 90%. So if US has a population of 350 million, उसका 90%, okay, that's more than 300 million itself are in the urban areas. So if you want sustainable development of the world, एक तो ये reason है, ज़्यादा लोग यहाँ पर हैं. That's one. The second reason is cities are centers of very high intensity of resource use. These are energy intensive economies. These are water intensive economies. They use lot of, these are having high population densities. Therefore, no, not just large population. यहाँ पर बहुत large densities भी हैं. Think of Singapore, think of Monaco city, think of Amsterdam, parts of Delhi. The density of population can be more than 5,000 per square kilometer. In parts of Singapore, it means almost as much as 10,000 people per square kilometer. This type of population will have very high intensity of water, and this can cause environmental problems. Water use, directly, you will have problems of groundwater. Energy consumption, you directly will have a lot of emissions. Okay, the second point. The third point, why am I saying cities is important, is that cities is where we have the bulk of pollution source. Okay, इसमें you must specify how you have the atmosphere. See, problem क्या है आपके answers में? What I'm seeing is you mention the broad head. आप आगे नहीं लिखते हो. That's a shallow information. So when you say atmospheric pollution, say there are emissions. Emissions. So if you look at the greenhouse gases, so greenhouse gases is carbon dioxide. Greenhouse gases is methane. It is N2O. ये आपके three. These are the non-fluorinated greenhouse gases. By the way, I hope you know the gases under the Kyoto Protocol. कौन-कौन से gases हैं covered under Kyoto Protocol? वो पता होना चाहिए as a GS. So these are the 3 non-fluorinated, and then we have fluorinated greenhouse gases, which are the chlorofluorocarbons, which is perfluorocarbons. We also have, I think, sulfur hexafluoride, and we have nitrogen trifluoride. Chlorofluorocarbons, we have got perfluorocarbons, and we have sulfur hexafluoride, and we have nitrogen tetrafluoride. ये सारे industrial greenhouse gases हैं. Okay. Nitrous oxide, NOx का part है, NOx. This is again from the vehicular emissions. ठीक है. If you look at greenhouse substances like carbon monoxide, ये भी emission से ही आता है. This again is urban phenomena. If you look at SOx, SOx is again industrial. Okay, sulfur dioxide, disulfur dioxide, disulfur oxide, 2, 3, 4, 5 variants of SOx हैं. SOx also is an industrial pollutant. तो आप जब सिर्फ कहते हो ना, population, urban areas have pollution, that is too bad. Specify why urban areas have pollution, what type of pollution. So urban areas, vehicular emissions, urban areas, industrial emissions, a primary source of nitrous oxide, primary source of carbon monoxide, primary source of the industrial gases, primary source of your ozone depleting substances. हो गया आपका atmospheric pollution हो गया. Then urban areas are reasons for the water pollution. Again be specific. What type of water pollution? Industrial pollution जो आपका है, cadmium है, mercury है, you have got arsenic pollution है, industrial, you have got cadmium, lead pollution. It comes from the e-waste. E-waste से आता है. It comes from solid wastes are a big source of pollution. Okay, solid waste includes all your electronic wastes, medical hazardous waste, nuclear wastes, plastic waste. Very high consumption of plastic wastes. So yes, so urban areas are source of pollution, atmospheric pollution, source of water and land contamination. Think of fly ash. Fly ash is one of the major components of your land water pollution. ये भी industrial pollution है. Fly ash. So if you're looking at global sustainability and you must control pollution, global sustainability, you must reduce energy intensity. Global sustainability, reduce water use and intensity. In fact, if you remember water, India, for example, about 5% is industrial usage of water. 95%, of course, is your agriculture contamination usage, but 5% is industrial usage of water. Put some data here. इसके अलावा urban areas also have high vulnerability to extreme events. डाल दो case study Delhi का 2023 Delhi floods. If you want sustainability, is also about disaster resilience. Urban floods, bad drainage. We do not have. We have destroyed natural water sinks. You can talk about urban heat island for the cloud bursts. See, your answer has to be rich, okay? Rich mein, the specific terms must be there, examples must be there. Put a paragraph of case study of Delhi floods. So it's a La Nina year, but it has heavy rainfall because of western disturbances. Heavy rainfall because of a low pressure system in the western part of India. Rainfall in one day was more than 150 mm. Water accumulation in parts of Yamuna Bank because of Yamuna Bank encroachment. Dam regulation, dam breach, Yamuna Bank ka breach hai, flooding in ITO. इतने फैक्ट्स में आपका केस स्टडी बन गया. So if you want sustainable development, Delhi-like conditions have been in. New York में भी हुआ है, Chicago में भी हुआ है, Houston में हुआ है, London has seen this. जो Canadian heat wave was an urban thing. The floods of Karachi was an urban thing. Put a box. That's your case study. Sustainability, disaster resilience. ये हो गया आपका. Now what else? What are the other components of sustainability? बताओ. Let's see. तो आपने crowding बता दिया. You have talked about environmental issues. What else is sustainability? Urban areas are also areas of conflicts. Sustainability is also about security. It's also about collaborative community living, equity of resources. Urban areas have conflicts. Urban areas have high inequalities. Class divide बहुत prominent है urban areas में. India, for example, India में the slums, the slums account for more than 20-25% of the urban population. So 1/4 population of urban areas lives in slums or in slum-like unauthorized areas. Inequalities, अगर sustainable development चाहिए, you need to have equality also. Social equality चाहिए आपको. But recent times में all the conflicts, racial conflicts हो गया, communal conflicts हो गया, migrant distress है. All are elements of urban areas are also areas of illegal migrant population. Refugees का बहुत high percentage है. The next point, sustainability का एक component है is also hunger and food insecurity. Urban areas are among one of the most vulnerable in food security. Urban areas में we call this as hidden hunger. Hidden hunger, दिखता नहीं है, malnutrition है, lack of data है, illegal migrants हैं. Lot of urban population are rural to urban migrants. Show this in a diagram. How we have this. You can mention Ravenstein's laws, how urban areas are magnets for rural population because of your employment opportunities. So you have covered environmental problems, you have covered crowding, you have covered problems related to conflicts, problems related to slums. Therefore, you can say that, अच्छा, इसमें SDGs, so hunger वाला SDG जो है, sustainable habitat वाला SDG है, drinking water SDG जो है, SDG 1, 2, 11, all of them are related to urban areas. Women issues भी issue. So you have mapped it. Now, Until then, you cannot say कि why urban areas are important critical components of sustainable development. ये लिख दिया आपने. Therefore, urban planning, urban development is critical component of global sustainability. In fact, एक और case study मुझे याद आ रहा है. Urban areas also have very high water distress because of again lack of rainfall. So Cape Town example डाल सकते हो. I don't know if you know this or not. Cape Town is one of the most water stressed cities of the world. It is rapidly getting depopulated. So अगर water sustainability चाहिए, urban areas must work on those. Economic sustainability लेके जाएं, urban areas are entirely dependent on supply chain systems because urban areas don't produce their own food. Okay, so they depend on supplies. अगर supply काट दिया आपने, ना पानी मिलेगा, ना खाना मिलेगा, ना jobs मिलेगा आपको. So urban areas are elements. So now you can talk about what needs to be done. So ज़्यादा नहीं, brief में. So elements of urban planning which can help global sustainability. I think you can talk about urban planning if you can take it towards garden city concept. जिसमें कि town country का mix होना चाहिए. Town country mix. Okay, there must not be only city elements like a modern city. It was a mix of country life, mix of urban life and country life. तो उसमें open spaces चाहिए. We need community space. Open spaces, community spaces. Okay, we need to have urban forests, urban gardens, adequate housing. So garden city concept was given by Howard Ebenezer, Howard. Howard. For those who have been in the class, you can refer to your notes. Otherwise, dekh lena isko. So he talks about the concept of 3 magnets. Okay, he says 1 magnet, a second magnet, and a third magnet. This is town-based planning. This is a country or a rural-based planning. And what you need is town and country planning together. Because urban area hai, okay, we need to merge this and we need to merge this. Okay, magnets are what is the attraction, what is the basis of a planning. You need a town country mix karke. This was given by, this is the garden city concept given by Howard Ebenezer. He planned a city called as Letchworth. Letchworth near London was planned like a garden city. यही concept अब वापस आ रहा है. Okay, in the concept of new urbanism. New urbanism में urban planning is not just physical planning. So urban planning is not just physical layout planning. Okay, it's not just about कि roads कैसे बनेंगे, कैसा housing होगा. No, new urbanism is also about community life. It's also about cultural diversity. It's also about environmental sustainability. It's also about open spaces and walkable cities. Open spaces and walkable cities. New urbanism is also about good governance. This is part of India's mission. एक आपके इंडिया में है ना National Action Plan for Climate Change. This plan has 8 missions. One of the mission is National Mission for Sustainable Habitats. 8 missions. Water mission है, इसमें agriculture mission है, इसमें solar mission है, green mission is there, forest का. So एक habitat पे mission है. So we have done this. New urbanism includes TOD planning. TOD, which is transit oriented development. TOD. TOD is based on new urbanism. Okay, all of these are examples of sustainable developments. और आप ये बता देना. So नीति आयोग, अमिताभ कांत, okay, G20 का जो Sherpa, okay, one initiative जो है, one of them ने, he has said that Indian cities should not be designed for cars like American cities. That is wasteful, that is unsustainable. The cities, urban 20. Please do that. ये current affairs मुझे याद आ गया, मैं बता दिया आपको. Okay, the cities must not be planned for cars. The cities must be planned for community life and walkable communities. Amitabh Kant, Niti Aayog CEO, he says, a process of urbanization in India has just begun. As it braces for urbanization, India should not repeat the mistake of building cities for cars like in US. Urban planning has to be compact and dense. Now, if you know the clustering, Jane Jacob, सुना आप नहीं? There's a Jane Jacob, an American activist है. इन्होंने concept दिया था, urban planning should have clustering, means get people together, ताकि ज़्यादा खुला जगह मिलेगा आपको. The clustering model. So you have dense concentration and more open spaces. That urban planning has to be compact and dense. It has to be walk to work and must be based on around public transportation. So it says urban development should not mean carbonization of cities. ऐसा डेवलपमेंट करो कि कार्बन एमिशंस कम जाए. So if you make cities for cars, you'll have more carbonization. You make cities for walking communities. So now, if you can bring in this angle also, in your Glasgow summit, COP26 में, we gave the concept of life. Life concept क्या है? Basically, lifestyle for sustainable environment. This is lifestyle for environment. And this probably has best relevance in urban areas. कि urban life ऐसा होना चाहिए that it has to be environmental friendly. Your urban life has to be energy efficient. Your urban life must be water efficient. Okay, urban life should be least waste generation. The circular economy है urban life में most important है. The circular economy is a very important component of urban development. I think we'll manage now. Any question urban problems now? Yeah, straight question पूछेगा आपको urban problems में. Read all the references here. So the whole idea is that please do not simply mention a keyword and leave it. उसको substantiate करो. Otherwise discussion कहाँ बचा? We just say yes, I agree because urban area has pollution, because urban area has crowding, urban area has problem of water, therefore it's important. इसमें discussion थोड़ी बना आपका. You have to be specific. Some data, some examples, draw a diagram, bring in a concept which is a geographical concept, a technical concept. New urbanism is a geographical concept. Okay, a garden city concept is a geographical concept. A clustering model is urban development concept. A life डाला आपने, current affairs बनाया इसको आपने. Then your answer is the rich answer.